Hello, everybody. Welcome to 420 Table Talk, Season 2, Episode 3. My name is DB.
Man, you can keep track of what seasons. It's Willie T up in here. Oh, I done lost track of which number we're on.
Yeah, I keep track because I gotta know where we're at and here and everything. So
Definitely.
Today we're gonna start off with some Space Face. We got a hologram junk. It's Skywalker OG and Face Off OG.
Oh man, that's gotta be fire.
I hope so. Space Face going on. It'll be some fire.
Got our power hitter ready to go.
Got the power hitter. We got some drinks today too. Some good 25 milligram cherry vanilla sodas to drink. And oh man, it should be a good day.
Like here, we'll pop this. Okay.
I got a double whammy there. I was lighting the joint as you was popping the soda, but I got a twofer right there. So today we're gonna bring to you a little bit of the history of cannabis, marijuana, hemp, reefer, whatever you want to call it. You know, because I was watching a documentary last night, Willie, with the
history.
I was watching a documentary last night on the jazz musicians and marijuana.
Man, that was messed up how they did that.
You know, and what I was seeing was the cool part of it. You know, I didn't know until I got here earlier and I was talking with Willie, and my mind just went, like, what the hell?
I know, he told me about jazz musicians, and I was like, oh, you're talking about that racist Anslinger?
And I was like, no, I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about when Armstrong and them, it helped them to get their music. That's why it was so smooth and laid back. You know, that's how they made it sound. They had that cool voice, like, it was so smooth and laid back. They was just chilling, you know, playing their pianos and their jazz and stuff, you know. And I'm thinking that's a really cool part of it. And then I get here today and, oh my God, I can't even... Oh my Lord,
he tells me this, and I'm like, bro, are you talking about racist Anslinger and how he used his media company, print media, to blame all the blacks for marijuana and all this stuff?
That's good.
Like, that is what happened. It was so messed up. You know, it's so funny, the two sides of the coin, because you got the good story here, like how they did that, and then you got the story about how, this timber, newspaper baron wanted to take out the hemp industry, so they created like the first drug task force.
Right,
and proceeded to, put out paper after paper. What he did was he ended up putting out all these news articles and headlines that would be like, and they made up a new word, because see, it's always been cannabis.
Yeah, that's what I call it.
And hemp. And so they made a new word, and they basically wanted to make it Mexican sounding, so they called it marijuana, spelled all funny, okay? And what they did was so the thing was hemp was a viable crop. I mean, we were using it for rope, we were using it for industrial. Popular Mechanics had a good article that said there's going to be, 500,000 uses for hemp in the future, because they were starting to discover plastics.
Yeah.
All kinds of great things, We're talking the 1920s and 1930s.
Right.
Well, these guys seen this as an attack on their business. So to get their foothold, they started this campaign with this, this new device that was out that's going to be the great controller. Because if you think of marijuana, marijuana and cannabis was truly defined by media companies, because that's how it happened. They created the very first media companies, and they produced, anti-marijuana campaigns, Reefer Madness, and they created all these shows, and they built up all this hype, and that the Mexicans were bringing in marijuana to sell to the black jazz musicians. Dude, I mean, it's messed up. Like, here, I found one of his quotes. And, I'm probably going to get demonetized for it, so we're going to bleep out the bad words. But I just want to show you this, because I thought this was
this is blowing
just
my mind.
Crazy. So, this is what Anslinger said. He's quoted as saying this. Their satanic music, and he was talking about Louis Armstrong, actually. Yeah, about Louis Armstrong.
Satanic Louis.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Their satanic music is driven by marijuana, And marijuana smoking by white women makes them want to seek sexual relations with the hard N word.
Oh my God.
Entertainers and others. And they created this campaign to make marijuana bad. And what they did was they separated...
So basically marijuana started the groupie.
Yeah, and they separated marijuana from hemp. And then what they did was they said, okay, well, if you want to grow hemp, you're going to need a tax stamp for that. And they issued no tax stamps. Within 10 years of it, the regular citizen,
done.
that's how powerful media was. That's the first instance that they showed how powerful media is. I mean, we all watch today, and we all blame social media, but TV changed it first. Within 10 years, no one knew the difference of marijuana and hemp. And so when the next presidents came up and they were like, we're going to have this fight on this evil marijuana, everybody was all about it.
Yeah, the war on drugs, the DARE program, remember Reagan?
Yeah, they didn't know
DARE,
nothing about it.
This is your egg.
Yeah.
You know, put your egg, your brain. This is your brain on drugs, and they drop the egg in the frying pan. You're like,
so
my brain knows.
we were talking about the jazz musician. I was telling you about Reefer Madness and how because Donnie asked me, he's like, well, what if white people start smoking? I'm like, well, they actually made a movie for that. It was one of the very first movies, and everybody gets high from jazz musicians, of course. And then they all are in an apartment and they all go crazy until they kill one another and the last guy jumps out. And they're playing music. It's so funny, the video.
I'm going to have to look this up later.
Because the guy, he's playing music and he's just going crazy. He's like, ah! Because he's high on marijuana and he plays it and kills a girl. And it's so lame. I mean, get super high and watch Reefer Madness. Dude, that's what we should do for a... We're going to watch Reefer Madness like a mystery theater. That's what we're going to do on one of our shows. So you guys should follow us so you can actually see that. And
that'd be
that'd be kind of fun.
That's weird though, because that totally blows my mind. I'm totally blown.
It's funny how racism has shaped so much in America. I mean, let's not follow down that rabbit hole right now.
No, right.
But it's nuts. It's nuts. And all it was to protect his interest in the timber industry.
In the paper industry.
Because he was the largest supplier of paper. His granddaughter, I've had the fortune of meeting her, and she tried to be like, oh, he was just doing his job, and it was like, you know what? I mean, I hate to say it.
It made me choke on my soda. Doing his job.
You're going to have to bleep me, but his grandma, okay, and his grandma.
Right.
I'll say that about you.
I'm about to go piss on his. You know what I'm saying? What I do?
I want to wake up and want to piss on your grandma. Yeah. So that's how it's so crazy.
So now if you look at, but now you look today, so let's jump a little bit further to today now in the industry. Now it's getting more, it's not such a big deal, but the thing that gets me is it's not such a big deal, but people are, in certain states and other, I was reading today, like in Texas, it's a big fucking deal down there, bro. You get caught with a joint, bro, you're fucked.
I forgot about it. I was over in Idaho one day, and everybody wanted to blaze me out, so they all pulled their pieces out. We're all smoking.
Right.
And all of a sudden, and everybody's freaking out. I'm like, what's the matter? And I was like, oh yeah, we're in Idaho.
It's not legal there.
Yo, check out our Sorry We're Still News if you want to learn a little bit more about Idaho right now.
Yeah, and that's nuts though if you think about it.
You know what though?
So we had this person that totally racialized it, I should say. Okay, in the beginning, and then we moved from the racialized part to in the 70s with the hippies with Janis Joplin and Jimi Hendrix and all of them, and it was more of a, I want to say, of a social experiment, I guess to say, back in that time. Right?
It was, but it was still as illegal. And a lot of people were actually getting arrested then.
Oh, for sure. I mean, don't get it twisted. For sure. Because we still got people sitting there right now in prison from back in that era, for legalized marijuana today. Or we should say cannabis. For legalized cannabis today. That just gets me. And then it's like, so I can be in Oregon, I'm cool. Where we're at, we can just be chilled out and we can have our smoke, we can do our podcast, and we do what we want. But now we go to Idaho and try to do something like that, and an hour later after we get through putting this live, they're gonna be like,
That's why the
"Hey,
fight's
Mr.
not
DB
over.
and Will, what's going on, guys? I seen you today. You was all chilling like that today, huh, boys? Okay, we'll come with us." Like, what? No,
That's why the fight's not over. It's still going on. We only have 15 solid states. You know what I mean? Like, we still have so much further to go.
well, I know we've been pounding
not
this
too
in,
far.
but I'm gonna pound it in again. So get out there and change it, folks. You have to take control. We the people, like if you watch the news, I watch the news. Watch Stone News and find
Unless
out.
you're in Idaho, then they're trying to take the control away from
Yeah,
you.
no, for sure.
They're trying to make an amendment that
Right.
that hinders your First Amendment, right?
That's right.
So, what, even if you don't like marijuana, and this is Uncle Jimbo, bro, they're trying to hinder your First Amendment right. So think about that whenever you go to get whatever when you want to pass. And you know what else is bad about the industry? It hasn't stopped. The racism still is huge in our industry.
For sure.
The steps of getting licenses, there's so many barriers and so many different things that make it really difficult. There's a very small percentage of African American
in the industry,
and Latinos in the industry.
Right. And we need to change that. They need to change that. Like there should be room for everybody of every ethic and everything in the industry. Because if you think about it, bro, it wasn't white people that started the look at before any of us. There was the Romans that was using that shit. We talked about that last season. I was saying all the different cultures that were using hemp and cannabis for different products like food and all these resources that it had, medicine. They were using it for medicine back then, and now it's a big thing. You got your medical, you got your recreational. Do you have a card? Do you not have a card? And all those things are just, that's how far the industry's come today. Instead of, like, unless you're in a certain state, you're going to be busted and thrown in jail. But like in our state here, you walk into the thing, they're like, "Hey, you got a card or not?" And most of the time I'm like, "I don't got no card because I like to have a handgun. I like to be able to carry my weapons. So I have no card, Because
it's sad though, because like. The only thing I don't like about what we got going now, and I'm all for legalization. I fought for it. I mean, I could be partially to blame for it, but did that do that thing? You held it down.
So if you don't take your thing out properly, it'll suck all the marijuana out of the cone.
Yeah, you gotta make sure that you don't hold the carb when you release it.
Well, we got some of this fire right here, and we got it.
But the marijuana industry, the cannabis industry. One of the issues I have with it is, like, no other industry has been, we're starting to see such a regulatory force in the industry.
Right.
That, like, when Prohibition ended, it ended. And things, opened up. States opened up pretty quick. Everybody was pretty good. And it really had a good entrepreneurial growth. Right. Lots of entrepreneurs were jumping in, getting into the industry, creating new things, creating new stuff, and it had a chance to grow. And I feel like a lot of times the cannabis industry doesn't get that chance to grow as much because there's lots of things where they're limiting licenses. They're regulating out licenses. I mean, if you apply for a license, it's going to take months before you're even allowed to get a license, before you even looked at.
For sure.
I mean... And that really kind of stifles the
Well, then
innovation.
they only give only a limited amount of license out anyways.
Yeah.
And it's not a first come, first served basis, believe that, people. It's not first come, first served. I think they kind of like, I would feel they'd probably all take like a hat like yours and throw them all in a hat and go, "Okay, well, Ben gets one today, Josh
That's
gets
how
one
we want
today."
to think about it. What they
But
do
that's
is
not
they
what
just
they
tell
do.
the media it's a
Yeah.
lotto, and then they go, "Okay,
Yeah.
which buddy's got the most money?"
Yeah. Who's got the deepest pockets?
Who's got the deepest pocket?
No, for sure, and that's exactly how they end up getting the...
That's how you end up cutting a lot of, you cut a lot of, different people out of the industry, because you make it a big money game instead of a hard work game, and that's how you end up with lower grade product. Like, I think cannabis became what it was because it was illegal. Like I could say, you know what? Thank you, Harry Anslinger.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
You know what? Because if you didn't make it illegal, it would have never gone
today.
into a basement. It would have never got fully controlled. I mean, have you seen cannabis from other countries that is not as regulated?
Oh yeah,
It looks like garbage.
Oh yeah, the gutter weed.
It's stringy. It's
Yeah.
garbage. We've like put it in, small compact areas and fine tuned everything and bred and got these, super strains that are just crazy delicious.
Oh yeah, like this gelato and I got some oil
and I don't
there.
think that ever would have existed if it never would have been illegal.
Not like that, 'cause I remember.
We'd be buying packs of,
right.
I
remember being in
ditch
Humboldt,
weed.
and that's when I think that I finally, that's I know for sure. That's when I realized how they were getting this good dense grow like that, in Humboldt, California, back in like the mid 70s.
When they
I
started
say.
to introduce CO2 to the
when
grow
they
rooms.
started,
Yeah.
Right, when they were doing all that, oh my God, and it was just
it's always
phenomenal.
And it's a way. It's funny of how the war starts because that's how things start. Like the CO2 things, and then the Fed started to track CO2. Stuff, and so you had to start signing out your tanks and all this stuff, and they would watch where tanks went and where tanks were at, and who was buying how many tanks. And they'd figure the little patterns out, and then go arrest those people and harass them. And so then people started looking at other ways, like now people were growing mushrooms, and and then like the innovation created a company that made a bag that you just added water to, and it would produce mushrooms that produce CO2 for you, and it would live for 6 months, and then you throw it away. But that whole company started because of police harassment. It's messed up. Like it's evil how it caused that capitalism. But as a people, we strive for it, and we innovated and made new ways to do things. All kinds of new
what the
products.
hell do you think what do you think all the fools did back in the day when they didn't have electricity, TVs, and all that shit? They had to make their own, I'm
friends with one of the guys who just got one of the Arizona licenses. He's pretty big.
Arizona just went legal.
That's right. And he invented.
Thumbs up, Arizona, way to go.
He invented the digger bat, the bat that you put in your, dugout, and it looks like a cigarette. It's so common. You don't really think about it that often, but it's so common. Kim Kardashian posted a picture of it as her Coachella must-have bag.
Her Coachella must-have.
I don't think he knows that she charges like $350,000 to do that.
Right.
And she did it for free for him. But he did. He didn't know.
Right.
It, but still, that's so crazy.
It's just crazy how far our industry's come and how far we're going to be going from here. If you think about it, we're only growing.
Well, that's what I feared. I'm sorry, I got a little off subject. Is that now with the regulation and everything, where big money's coming in, big money doesn't innovate like that.
No, they take it away.
Big money doesn't do that.
They partner up with Philip and Morris and all them guys. That's what big money does.
Big money creates the cheapest product that it can maximize its profit with. And so I don't think we're going to see as much innovation. Maybe. Who knows?
I mean, what I would like, to see is like my buddy up in Washington does. He has his own shop and he grows his own though. You know what I mean? He grows all his flower for his shop. You know what I'm saying? He has his own grow off and he fucking does his thing. And I would like to see more people go that direction instead of, because like I was talking to a buddy the other day that has a shop here and he's saying like, for instance, when people come from like way west Oregon. Or said Eastern Oregon, when they come from Eastern Oregon towards Idaho and stuff and they're bringing the flour here, it doesn't look as good as the stuff that's coming from like Florence area, Sisters, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
The coast is, it's like why he's telling me he wants to look at the guy and politely tell him like, why are you wasting your time driving all the way over here to me with this stuff when we have right there in Toledo, we have the best. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I'm saying? It's just it's those weird things how the industry has changed, and now you got people out there, delivering to these dispensaries, bro, with like they're loaded down, homeboy. They got like 100 grams of oil, all this shit, and they're rigging, they're rolling around town. And the cops ain't rolling up on them and busting them and harassing them, and that's crazy.